Hi, Donna Guest here, Creative Memories Advisor and Lazy Scrapbooker. I love to share fast pages because they help us complete our albums more quickly. And since we all have so much beautiful paper, I like this idea because it uses 7 patterns from one paper pack. You'll just need your 12-inch trimmer and adhesive. Let's get started. I'll show you how to recreate this page layout using a different paper pack. I'm going to use the new Welcome Home Designer paper pack from Creative Memories. From Welcome Home, I've chosen 6 sheets to use. I'm going to use this as my background, although you could do this layout directly onto the scrapbook page. And then I'm going to use the front and back of these for the different patterns that I need. First, as you see on this sample, I've got 4 different patterns repeated 3 times. You can use fewer squares for this or you can use more. It's totally up to you. It depends on the spacing between these. I did not measure that, I just eyeballed it, but with using a ruler afterwards I can see it's about 5/8 of an inch-ish. Then we'll need 2 patterns for the top and the bottom for those horizontal borders. When you're choosing your papers to use for these 4 different patterns for the layered squares, you want to make sure that your paper looks good when tilted sideways at a 45-degree angle. I'm not going to use this one for that. I'm going to use this for a border up here. This paper, on the other hand, looks great both ways. So just make your choices that way. So once I've made my choices of papers, I'm going to cut them at 3 by 3 squares. So to make it fast and easy, I'm just going to cut a 3 by 12 strip from the 4 papers that I'm going to use. Now I've got my 4 3 by 12 strips. So to make my squares, I could do them all 4 at a time, but I'm not going to. I'm going to make it easy and do them 2 at a time and cut into 3-inch pieces, making sure to keep them lined up correctly so that all the squares are the same size. And you can of course do these 1 at a time. I'm just doing this as a time saver. Now I'm going to determine what I want the pattern to look like. There's really no rule about this. I just want to make sure it looks nice to me. Now this blue and this green could look nice because there's some green there. Let's see. Separating the leaves that way. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now that we've got all our squares, and I have 16, so I have more than enough. Next, we're going to cut these 2 strips. I'm going to use this paper for both strips. I'm going to use this for the smaller strip at the top, and then this for the larger strip because this is a bigger pattern. I want more of it to show. So for the 2 strips at the very top and the very bottom, you want to do a 1/2 inch. Now, before I cut this, I want to make sure I'm going with the grain of the wood look here, and that it also is going to go with this because I don't want to cut it off this way and then I won't have 12 inches. So we're cutting with the pattern. So I'm going to cut 2 1/2-inch strips, and of course you can vary this and do any width you want. Now I'm going to flip it over. Of course I didn't really have to flip it over, it's the same thing. And I'm going to cut 2 1-inch strips. I'm going to use this end though. I just like the way that's going to look better, I think. Now let's start attaching everything. I'm going to use my repositionable tape runner, and this is of course the one with the green cartridge, and the reason being that if I make a mistake, which I may do that, I can easily move it around. And I like to put this directly at the bottom, although you could put it up a little higher to show some of the paper. That's totally up to you. But I want to leave as much room as possible for my photos and my journaling. Okay, that's a nice border. Then we'll attach these. And I'm leaving about 1/4 of an inch there. Totally personal preference. Okay, now as a lazy scrapbooker, I gotta tell you, this is a typical page for me. I could leave it right here and I would be so happy and add my photos and my journaling and be done. But I'm going to use these pretty squares because I do like to use all these beautiful papers that we have. And this is a great way to show about 6, 7 different patterns on one page. So I'm going to attach these. Now, I like to have it hanging off the edge a little bit. As you can see what I did here. It hangs off here and it hangs off a little bit here. Oh, the other thing I want to tell you is that I'm going to start at the bottom, because if I layer from the top, it doesn't have the same effect. It looks like it's going up. So I'm going to start layering at the bottom and then work up from there, so it does look like it has this, they're kind of draping down there. Another variation, you'll notice how I place them here to have a little bit of edge. I'm going to give the maximum room for my photos, and I'm going to hang it off the left edge as well. Just another way to try this. So now I've done my pattern twice, and I'm going to repeat it one more time, and I'll probably have just enough. And if I don't have enough, I've got more squares to use. Okay, I think I want to stop it here because I just love that paper on top. Although I could put the brown there, you know. As much as I love this paper, I think it really ties it together a little bit more if I top it off with the brown and just have this as a little accent. So I actually have 13 squares on this. And so now my favorite part is trimming this off. And for this, I'm going to use my 12-inch trimmer and flip it upside down. And this is just so satisfying. I love this. So I'm going to line this up, and using those wonderful little sight lines. And if you've never seen those, they are tucked in here. And if you've never seen those, I urge you to watch my video of my 20 favorite things about the 12-inch trimmer, and I'll throw the link up there in the top right-hand corner for you. But seeing as how my sight line, I want to make sure that is right on the edge of my paper so I don't cut the sheet. I'm going to cut that off. Oh, and look how fun that is. So much fun. And then I'm going to do the same thing on these sides as well, on the top and the bottom. And I'm always making sure I line my paper up here, press it against that ledge so that you know it is straight. And the sight line really helps because you're covering up your cutting line. And here you go. What do you think? I really like this design. Let me know what you think in the comments. As you can see, it's very versatile. Here's one way to do it, and here was the other one. And if I flip this over, I've got yet another one. Nicholas, what do you think? For more videos with fast pages, tutorials, and how to use your Creative Memories tools, definitely click like or subscribe here. Thanks for watching.